Well, a terrifying situation unfolding in Puerto Rico tonight. As many as 70,000 people are being evacuated because a dam is failing. More than 15 inches of rain falling on the mountains surrounding this dam, swelling the reservoir behind it. The Weather Service urging people to move to higher ground, calling it extremely dangerous, life-threatening.
D-. That's the score the American Society of Civil Engineers gave to Puerto Rico's infrastructure. Even worse, 97% of Puerto Rico's dams are classified as high hazard potential, meaning failure would likely result in loss of life. Now imagining living downstream from one of these aging dams, one that experts say is dangerously close to failing. What happens when time catches up? Puerto Rico is home to over 35 major dams, many of which were constructed in the mid-20th century. They were marvels of engineering at the time, providing water, hydroelectric power, and flood control. But now, many of these structures are reaching the end of their expected lifespans. The story of Puerto Rico's dams begins in the early 20th century, when the island's growing population and agricultural economy demanded reliable water sources. In 1908, the newly US-controlled Puerto Rico established the Irrigation Service, with the goal of constructing large dams to support sugarcane irrigation, the island's primary cash crop. Some of the first major dams built under this initiative were the Guayabal, Carite, and Patillas dams, primarily constructed in the southeast region of the island. In 1927, another significant project was completed, the Oaxaca Dam, but almost immediately the new structure faced a major test. Just a year after its completion, Oaxaca Dam was hit by Hurricane San Felipe, one of the most powerful storms to ever strike Puerto Rico. While the dam survived, the storm underscored a critical reality. Caribbean dams must withstand some of the most extreme weather events on the planet. Fast forward to 2017, nearly a century later, and the same dam faced another storm. This time, Hurricane Maria. The storm brought over 40 inches of rain and led to water going over floodgates and ripping a hole in the spillway. The dam nearly collapsed, and it was thanks to the work of countless engineers that the crisis was averted. At the time, the Oaxaca Dam was nearly 90 years old. Today it's nearly 100. The near collapse of the dam highlighted the risk Puerto Rico faces and the urgent need for immediate action. But here's the problem. There's no easy solution. Caribbean dams are exposed to extreme weather, with heavy rains and massive amounts of sediment leading to rapid siltation. In addition, Puerto Rico faces a real threat of earthquakes, which could be catastrophic in the event of a dam failure. Some argue that decommissioning these dams is a sensible solution. After all, many were built to serve the now obsolete sugarcane industry. But Puerto Rico has found a new use for these dams: water. The island now relies on them for its municipal water supply, and with few alternatives for securing fresh water, these dams are more crucial than ever. But here's the big one: money. From 2006 to 2017, Puerto Rico suffered from a prolonged economic slump and massive debt, which totaled over $70 billion in 2016. In 2016, Puerto Rico defaulted on its debt, but since it is a U.S. territory, it was without bankruptcy protection, which led to hedge and vulture funds buying up Puerto Rico's debt, further worsening the crisis. The U.S. Congress then passed a law known as Promesa that created a financial oversight and management board with members appointed by Congress to control spending on the island. Although Puerto Rico has officially exited bankruptcy as of March 15, 2022, the austerity measures imposed by the Promesa board led to the neglect of Puerto Rico's infrastructure. The near collapse of the Oaxaca Dam was a wake-up call. In the aftermath, FEMA granted $150 million to the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority to repair the dam, and since then, the island government has requested an additional $1 billion to retrofit both Oaxaca and Patillas, two of the island's oldest and most important dams. Despite the many challenges, there are paths forward, though none of them are easy. The fact is, Puerto Rico's infrastructure crisis requires urgent attention. The aging dams are not just old concrete walls, they are lifelines for the island. Experts point to a few possible solutions: increasing federal investment in infrastructure, improving monitoring systems to detect early signs of failure, and reinforcing the most vulnerable structures. But these fixes come at a steep cost, one that the island is currently ill-equipped to afford. Some say the answer lies in better collaboration with the US federal government. Puerto Rico's status as a US territory means it's eligible for federal funding, but as we've seen with the slow response to the island's financial struggles, red tape and bureaucracy can delay much needed help. It's clear that the island needs a comprehensive, long-term plan to safeguard its water supply and rebuild its infrastructure. However, even with financial and technical resources, the future of Puerto Rico's dams still hang in the balance. Without action, the risk of failure will only grow, putting thousands of lives at risk. The question remains, will Puerto Rico's leaders and the US government act quickly enough to avert disaster?